Stop what you're doing because what I'm about to tell you isn't just a scandal, it's the scandal of the decade. Chrissy Lampkin, the same Chrissy who built her brand on drama, diamonds, and dipset loyalty, is now facing the harsh reality of a courtroom verdict. According to sources, Chrissy was caught lying under oath about her alleged explosive affair with Camron. Yes, Camron, the dipset Don, Jim Jones's closest friend turned forbidden flame, is the name Chrissy Lampkin scandal. How did we get here? Was it recklessness, passion, or betrayal? Or did Chrissy really think she could outsmart the courts the way she played the cast of Love and Hip Hop? The betrayal goes deeper than anyone could have imagined, destroying friendships, families, and allegedly endless receipts. Jim Jones's reaction will leave you stunned. You think you've seen drama, but you haven't seen anything yet, so stay locked. This is the expose the world has been waiting for, and trust me, it's going to get even more disgusting. A woman who once strutted across reality TV screens as if she owned the entire network was now front and center in a scandal so messy and jaw-dropping that even seasoned court reporters were blinking twice. At the center of it lies betrayal and a name that has haunted the dipset legacy for years. Chrissy Lampkin is that prize, and the courtroom doors slammed shut behind her. However, it was not the echo of the gavel that had everyone frozen, but rather the sheer audacity of the story unfolding inside Chrissy Lampkin. Chrissy Lampkin stood before a judge and swore under oath that she had no inappropriate relationship with Camron. According to explosive testimony and leaked court documents, which, by the way, were slipped to certain bloggers anonymously, Chrissy Lampkin said she had no inappropriate relationship with Camron. Till then, it was all messy rumor mill nonsense. Was there something more than friendship between Chrissy and Camron? Or had blurred lines been turned into full-blown betrayal? Devoted fiancé of Jim Jones. A woman unfairly singled out by haters and jealous opportunists. But the problem with lying under oath is that it's not just bad PR. It's perjury, and perjury is a first-class ticket to prison. Sources inside the courtroom detailed the moment the prosecution revealed an alleged private video that was grainy, shaky, but unmistakably damning, showing Chrissy and Camron way too cozy at a so-called business meeting by cozy. We're not talking side hugs and courteous conversation, but rather full-on lip locks, private booths, and whispered conversations that no business deal in history has ever required the jury to gasp. Jim Jones, who was seated in the back of the courtroom, reportedly hung his head in his hands in front of Chrissy, who stared straight ahead with her jaw locked so tightly that it could cut glass. If that wasn't bad enough, open court messages containing familiarity laced with flirtations, crate meet plans, and conversations about keeping it between us were read aloud. If you listened closely, you could probably hear the nationwide gasp of Dipet fans. Now, let's be honest. Chrissy has never exactly been the epitome of subtlety. She constructed a reality TV career on drama, confrontation, and unforgettable meltdowns long before this scandal erupted. You may recall the famous punch she delivered to Camilla on Love and Hip Hop, or the numerous instances in which she demanded Jim put a ring on it while sobbing and screaming in front of large crowds. Chrissy wasn't just interested in drama, she was the drama. Now it appears that her desire for chaos has led her to run afoul of the law. But wait, it gets worse, because if you thought her facing perjury charges was explosive enough, you haven't heard according to the circulating rumors about what caused her to lie in the first place. Anonymous insiders, because there are always anonymous insiders, say that Chrissy wasn't just trying to protect herself, but rather that she was attempting to conceal a much larger and more egregious secret involving Camron, Jim Jones, and some highly dubious business dealings. Chrissy allegedly feared that if her private relationship with Camron were revealed, it would lead to a whole series of financial entanglements between the dipset crew, money-laundering rumors, off-the-books investments, and secret-ass if things couldn't get any more embarrassing. Screenshots of courtroom sketches of Chrissy Lampkin looking pale, stiff, and visibly shaken immediately became the internet's favorite new meme captions, ranging from love and hip-hop to lies and lockup. In her mind, lying under oath wasn't just about saving face, it was about saving everything. Of course, the court doesn't care about your motivations when you lie under oath. And right now, Chrissy's goose isn't just cooked. It show Courtroom. Confessions flooded Twitter and Instagram while Camron Radio remained silent, not even posting a half-hearted Instagram post or a statement, acting as though he was too fortunate to be stressed. The same buzzing insiders claim that Jim Jones is devastated, humiliated, and allegedly planning his next move, because loyalty bosses only go so far when public humiliation knocks on your mansion door. By the end of the first day of court, it was evident that Chrissy Lampkin wasn't just battling a PR nightmare. She was fighting for her freedom, and if the prosecution had one more ace up their sleeve, a witness who no one saw coming, and when that person took the stand, everything Chrissy's defense, her relationship, and her reputation came crashing down in real time. The tension inside the courtroom was so thick you could cut it with a knife. If the evidence continued to pile up the way it did during opening arguments, she wouldn't just lose in court, she would lose everything she had to fight for decades to obtain. However, what followed would turn this story from scandalous to completely disastrous. When the doors opened, the mystery witness appeared. The spectators were leaning forward, their eyes wide, their phones gripped tightly, ready to release the next viral headline. A figure stepped forward, calm and composed, carrying what looked like a thick folder of documents under one arm. Buzz began immediately, and whispers bounced off the walls, asking who it was: a former assistant, a betrayed confidant, or an ex-friend. The judge called for an order, and the figure took off their sunglasses, revealing who it was: a former Dipset tour manager who no one had anticipated. Mr. X, who we will refer to for legal reasons, had receipts. Actual receipts, emails, wire transfers, handwritten notes, and even transcripts of alleged late-night phone calls. According to Mr. X, Chrissy and Camron's business meetings had been going on for much longer than anyone had anticipated. Years, not months, that we covered for them. Mr. X stated flatly and matter-of-factly that there were entire trips disguised as Dipset promo runs, hotel bills covered under fictitious company names, drivers paid off to remain silent, and venues rented under shell companies so they could meet. As the testimony continued, more alleged evidence surfaced, including photos purportedly taken by private investigators hired by suspicious insiders that showed Camron and Chrissy boarding private jets together, checking into hotels hours apart but leaving together in the morning. One of the photos even showed Camron handing what appeared to be a diamond. In the private meeting, the courtroom gasped. Bloggers couldn't type quickly enough. And the cherry on top, that Mr. X, Jim Jones, had no clue. Zero. Nah. He was allegedly so focused on maintaining the Dipset brand that he was unaware of what was happening beneath his nose. The internet went crazy when Chrissy gave a necklace outside of a Knocklos club in Atlanta. The hashtags Josh Chrissy lies, Josh Dipset scandal, and Camron Gate trended for days, and memes appeared on all platforms. One particularly popular picture featured Chrissy's courtroom sketch next to the Mona Lisa, both of them wearing the same deadpan stare, with the caption, "When you realize lying under oath wasn't worth it." False TikTok attorneys started examining the matter when drama channels on YouTube amassed millions of views and hours with posts like "The Untold Truth About Chrissy and Camron's Affair," and Jim Jones's betrayal surprised the fans, who were furious. Some followers fiercely defended Chrissy, with one fan account writing, "Chrissy has always held Jim down, so I don't believe this for a second. Camron must be clout chasing." Others were less forgiving. "We've been new. Chrissy was messy, sis stayed messy on Love and Hip Hop. This ain't new." Even celebrities began weighing in. An imaginary tweet from fellow Love and Hip Hop alum Erica Mina read, "The streets always talk." Additionally, I must add that I'm not at all surprised. Stay tuned because the drama was not limited to social media. Courtroom documents leaked to some blogs revealed a troubling financial picture. According to one entry, Chrissy had allegedly borrowed large sums of money from Dipset affiliates under false pretenses, asking for $250,000 for a home renovation project, only to use the money for hush payments for a private investigator who was threatening to expose her and Camron. If this is true, it would be fraud and racketeering, which is a charge that had already raised the possibility of a possible RICO inquiry. As day after day went by in court, Chrissy remained composed, her famous poker face barely cracking. But behind the scenes, sources claim that panic had fully set in and that her team is in a downward spiral. One insider told an entertainment blog that they are allegedly pleading with Camron to release a statement clearing her name. But Camron is refusing to get involved and is ghosting everyone. And Jim Jones, according to unverified reports, packed up his belongings and left their shared home in New Jersey as the courtroom spectacle continued into its second week. Even mainstream news outlets that typically ignored reality TV scandals couldn't help but take notice. The New York Times ran a headline from hip-hop royalty to legal ruin, which led to Chrissy Lampkin's downfall. Even more harshly, a tabloid cover featured Chrissy's face with the cruel caption, "Lies, Love, and Lockup." An additional alleged insider told the same blog, "Not angry, not loud, just numb, like the betrayal finally broke him." Breaking his silence, and then came the moment that sent shockwaves through the already chaotic courtroom on day 7. Chrissy's legal team called Camron as a surprise witness. Cameras weren't allowed inside. But word spread like wildfire that Camron had arrived at the courthouse wearing a hoodie pulled low over his face, flanked by security. What happened next? Nobody was ready as Camron took the stand. Courtroom sketches captured him with a smirk, the same one Dipset fans knew all too well. The attorney asked the million-dollar question. "Mr. Wynn," the crowd fell silent, and the sound of the courthouse clock could be heard. Camron leaned into the microphone and said, "Define inappropriate chaos, absolute, unfiltered chaos. Did you have an inappropriate relationship with Ms. Lampkin?" There were gasps and whispers across the courtroom when the judge slammed the gavel and demanded order. Cameron's answer or known answer sent the internet into full meltdown mode. "The damage was done," stated one of the viral headlines. Chrissy Lampkin's defense disintegrated and her credibility vanished. Prosecution pounced, setting the stage for the most brutal day yet to be sentencing. The question now was not whether she would be found guilty, but rather how bad things would get. The courthouse was a war zone, and reporters swarmed the entrance. Fans with cell phones pressed against the barricades, hoping to catch even a blurry shot of her. You could almost hear the internet's collective gasp as the judge got ready to announce what everyone had been anticipating the most. The music, the judge, who was described by insiders as stone-faced and unimpressed by the circus of celebrity drama, didn't waste time. Chrissy sat in the courtroom, silent and stiff, with her legal team by her side. Her face was drained of the glamorous defiance she once wore like a designer accessory. Jim Jones was nowhere to be seen, and Camron, true to form, vanished into the New York night without another word. The courtroom fell so silent that you could hear the reporters' pens scratching frantically on notepads. The judge said, "You have been found guilty of perjury and obstruction of justice for willfully giving false testimony under oath about your relationship with Mr. Camron Giles, also known as Camron." The evidence was overwhelming, and Chrissy's attorneys pleaded for leniency, pointing to her history of charitable work, her emotional distress, her well-known but possibly phony foundation for hip-hop women entrepreneurs, and of course, her devoted reality TV fan base. However, the judge wasn't having it. "And you showed off your power by treating this courtroom like the legal system doesn't function on a predetermined plot, as you are going to discover." Okay? Drama, the sentence 12 months behind bars, 5 years probation, and mandatory community service. The courtroom exploded. One spectator shouted, "Not my queen." Another was heard muttering, I finally got what was coming to me. The "went nuclear Chrissy" sentence went viral all over the world, and in one particularly vicious post, Chrissy was seen wearing an orange jumpsuit and was photoshopped onto the Love and Hip Hop. Within 24 hours of the ECE sentencing, there were rumors that VH1 had approved a special two-part documentary series that chronicled Chrissy's legal downfall. The project was tentatively titled From Diamonds to Defendants: The Chrissy Lampkin Story. The logo was later renamed Lies in Lockup: The Chrissy Chronicles, and even late-night comedians jumped on the wave. The punchline in the clip was that Chrissy always wanted Jim to put a ring on it. Fans of Dipset were divided after being promised exclusive footage, jailhouse interviews, and shocking revelations that the court couldn't even touch. Some diehards called the whole situation a federal setup, arguing that Chrissy was being targeted because of her connections to influential hip-hop figures. One fan wrote on Twitter, "This is bigger than Chrissy," asserting that Dipset was being taken down. Others weren't as kind. After seeing a widely shared Instagram caption beneath a video of Chrissy sobbing in court, they realized that the consequences weren't only for Chrissy. Insiders claimed that Jim Jones had disappeared, turning off his phone and disappearing from all social media sites. His final post, which featured a mysterious black screen with the words "Sometimes silence says it all," became the new obsession on the internet. Speculation erupted about whether he had permanently split from Chrissy, whether he was planning to sue her for public humiliation, and whether he was secretly in negotiations with Netflix for his own show, Jim Jones: The Betrayal Diaries. As usual, he remained silent for a week after the sentencing. Shared a picture of himself at a Knicks game with the simple message, "I'm still winning." The internet was blown away by his rudeness and disrespect, according to anonymous sources. Chrissy was planning to file an appeal, claiming that celebrity bias had unfairly influenced her trial. However, the court of public opinion had already spoken, and even phony legal analysts on YouTube weighed in. The only bias here is Chrissy's belief that she could outsmart a judge, just like she used to do when she manipulated reality show producers. The hits just kept coming in a straight line. Strange turn of events: a Talal book deal, tentatively titled The Price of Fame. My Side of the Story by Chrissy Lampkin was allegedly leaked. Industry insiders speculated as to whether it would be a true confession or yet another attempt to rewrite history, just when you thought it was over. Rumors surfaced that federal investigators were subtly investigating the alleged financial misconduct connected to the entire scandal. Her sentence may be just the beginning, whispered an imaginary source close to the investigation. If she thought this was the end, a lot of money moved around in odd ways. Tabloid headlines cried out, "The Dipset family," once known for their close relationship and flamboyant brotherhood, was now publicly broken. Camron silent, Jim Jones absent, Chrissy imprisoned, and the fans watching it all unfold like the final season of the messiest show they never asked for, but couldn't stop binging as the dust settled and Chrissy was led out of the courtroom in handcuffs, wearing designer sunglasses and defiance on her face. The public knew one thing. What do you think Chrissy Lampkin deserved to go down for lying about her alleged affair with Camron? Was it, as some believe, a calculated hit job intended to bring down the Dipset empire once and for all? Was justice served? Was Jim Jones the ultimate victim in this wild betrayal? Will Chrissy make a comeback with a redemption arc? Or is her time in the spotlight officially over? Share your theories and the most outrageous conspiracy theories in the comments section below. And let's get this discussion going. You won't want to miss what we have in store for you next. From shocking betrayals to courtroom meltdowns, this channel is your front row seat to the messiest, most jaw-dropping, and sometimes completely unbelievable scandals the internet has ever seen. If you thought this was the wildest plot twist of 2025, boss, trust me, we're just getting started. Make sure you hit the like button, share this video with your fellow scandal fans, and most importantly, turn on notifications. Till then, keep your popcorn ready. The drama never lets up. Never lets up.